Hi, I'm Scott, and this is Jordan, Connor, and Christian, and we're going to be rebuilding this XR200 motor. I'm going to be teaching these guys how to do that, and you. Why pay someone $100 an hour to do something you can do yourself, right? So we're going to tear into this thing, and we're going to see how it goes. So we're not exactly sure what's wrong with the motor. You know, we were out on a desert riding trip, and it pretty much seized up and stopped working, and now it makes kind of a nasty sound when you kick it. There's some sounds coming from that motor that
Kyler did it.
Exactly right. No,
Kyler
actually, no, it wasn't. It was somebody else who will remain nameless. It may not have been their fault, but anyway, we know there's something wrong down there in the cylinder, so we're gonna have to pull the head off of this thing. And unfortunately, when Honda designed the bike, they made it so that you had to take off the entire bodywork and pull the motor out of the frame because we can't get the cylinder off with this tube right here. So we're going to have to start stripping this bike down at this point. So as you can see, we now have the bike up, and you want to get it in a comfortable location where it's kind of like not going to fall over, and you know, plenty of room around it to work. And now we're ready to just start tearing into it. So the first thing you got to do is you got to remove all the body work. You got to remove the tank, the shrouds, not the rear fender, but you're going to have to remove the pipe, the muffler, and the header. So Christian's doing that, and it's just a matter of getting the right tools for the job. Since this is a Honda, you pretty much, at least for the initial work, you just need an 8, a 10, and a 12. And you can pretty much do almost every bolt on the entire bike.
Not trying. I think it's getting tighter.
This work is mostly self-explanatory. If you look all over the bike, you can find where all the fenders and stuff are attached, and just start working on it. I'm a big fan of having a place when you take the bolts out to put them in a spot where they're not going to get lost. So we're going to pretty much put literally every bolt in this little candy cane tub.
Do you have like a bucket where we can catch it? I have no idea what I'm doing.
So after you got all the body work off, next step is to remove the exhaust pipe because that's going to be getting in the way. So it's got to come off all the way back. You know, most of this job is just twisting nuts and bolts. It's really not that complicated. Yes, an essential part of all garage work is the music.
The playlist.
So one of the bonehead moves you can make is to forget to drain the bowl in your carburetor before you take it off, and then it gets gas all over your garage. I've done that a few times, so remember to empty my little water bottle, put it in the overflow, and then just open up the carb and let that bowl drain. Every mechanic knows that it's all about having the right tools for the job. And you don't need a lot of tools for this job. Pretty much my favorite are the T-handle wrenches. They make things a little faster. Something like a blade for gasket scraping. A couple screwdrivers. All right, we're at the point now where we're going to pull the throttle cable out of the carburetor with the slide. And so I just think you just pull it straight out and just kind of like, for now we're just going to just let it hang down there, and we're just going to kind of keep this out of the way. I mean, we don't have to do really anything else with that. That's going to be good as it is. Yeah, just removing the spark plug wire right now. Okay, so what we're doing right now is removing the carburetor. The only reason we have to remove the carburetor is because we just have to get the engine out. There's nothing wrong with the carburetor, so it probably has to be cleaned out. But sometimes these old bolts are kind of stripped, so you just gotta take this part out right here, the manifold, and you're just gonna pull the carburetor all the way out and put it on the workbench and reinstall it when we put the motor back together. Next thing is to remove the automatic decompression lever, which is this little bad boy right here. And basically all that is just removing this cable off of here and kind of pulling that out of the way. It's connected to the Kickstarter. Now we're removing engine mounts. There's an engine mount there. There's one up top right there. It's already gone. And then there's this engine mount right here. Some engines have them engine mount out at the swing arm. Swing arm bolt goes through the engine, but fortunately not this bike.
Go to the one on your far left, not the middle one.
See, one of the issues that we're working with here is this little tiny bit of clearance that we have here. Most motorcycles I've ever rebuilt, you actually have room to pull the head and the cylinder off with the engine still in the bike, but unfortunately Honda didn't design this one that way, and you got to take the whole motor out if you want to work on the top end. If you can rebuild one of these Honda 4-stroke motors, you can pretty much work on so many of their different bikes. Like this is the XR200. It's so much like the bike we're going to be doing. There's a CRF80. There's a CRF150. And pretty much the process for rebuilding these motors would be the exact same process as rebuilding this motor right here. So we got to tap some of these motor mounts out. It's nice to have a punch.
And
do
help.
that job with. Hey, you're helping a lot, Christian. Nice job, man. And I think one of the last things we're going to have to do is pull this little wire out. This thing attaches to the wiring harness, and we just unclipped it. And now the motor's free in here. I think it's just time to, we got to take the chain off. But then it'll be time to wrestle it free. Now I'm just pulling off the clutch lever, and we're going to, or clutch cable. We're just going to let that clutch cable hang. This part's really fun. This is wrestling the motor out of the bike. All right, we got to make sure we don't hit the backbone right there. There's always all kinds of motor mounts and stuff in the way, but it will come out. We promise. Look at that.
Now we're connected somewhere, so
You got to remember with the way these wires go in and then attach. When you pull them apart, you got to remember how they go back together.
Those muscles.
Those muscles. Alright, now the engine is out. Now we get to open this bad boy up and see what the damage is. I really have no idea totally what's wrong with it. It may be so far gone that it's not even worth it, but we're hoping that we're going to pull that top end and see a piston that's a little melted, but a cylinder that's still in good shape, and a lower end that's still in good shape. Weston Messer, we dedicate this video to you. Not saying why, but you know why. This is for you, buddy. Well, we're at a good stopping point for today. We got the motor out of the bike. Got a bunch of stuff sitting over here, and a bunch of stuff sitting over there, and stuff sitting over there with Connor. And we'll pick up on this tomorrow. Okay, Connor, time to tear into this engine.
Let's do it.
But first, the music.
The music.
Okay, first thing that has to happen is we got to take that bolt, and remove the ignition cover.
My hand's making a cameo.
Alright, taking off the CDI shows you the cam chain. Now it's time to take these bolts off and remove the head. These bolts are usually torqued down pretty tight, but we were able to bust them loose. And then we probably got to take some of these others. Sometimes you just got to fiddle around. I don't even know exactly what we got to take off on this head, but we got to pull this thing off. So these are the three main ones that go all the way through everything. So we got them.
If you notice, this one.
Head cover here. It's kind of one of those things where you got to wiggle it. It's got a gasket, so you got to peel it. Sometimes you got to stick something.
Hey, Dad?
Oh, there it was. Oh, now I'm realizing that all these things have washers. That's a good thing to know.
Whoa. That was a gasket.
Okay, here we go. Ready? We're going to look underneath there. First, kind of look inside the engine. Alright, here we have some internal engine parts. This is the cam sprocket. This is the cam itself, cam lobes right there. This is the cam chain. These are the valve springs right there. All right, so these the cam here operates those valves. It makes them go in and out when the motor's spinning. Now it's time to take off the head, which is that piece right there. This whole piece is the head. Okay, once you take the cam chain off, or the cam off, right here, then you got to hold this chain because you don't want that falling down into the motor, that's for sure. So we got to have a plan for that. These 4 bolts are what actually hold the head cover and the head on. And so right now, the only thing that's really holding the head on, I think, is this bolt right here. I think if we take this off, we can pop the head right off. So we're going to do that next. All right, so we got to get this off, and we've taken all the bolts off. I think it smells like burnt oil in there, so I kind of think we had a heat problem for sure. But I think I'm just going to tap on the bottom of this and see if we can get it to break loose. Yep, broke it loose. Tap all the way around, be kind of gentle. Here, I found something that I forgot to pull out in there. It's cam chain tensioner. So, see that? Oh, you know what? Hey, look.
You're in the
Bolt. Hey, we forgot about a bolt. It's this one right here. That there's a cam chain tensioner in there that's attached on the bottom, and we got to take that off too. Yeah. Here's a strip. Okay.
All right, that's good.
This is the head. Valves. Up in there.
Look on the bottom.
See, when we're cranking on the Kickstarter and the piston's not moving, that's a bad thing. We don't know what's going on down there, but it's not good.
So, go ahead and pull the head.
Well, that's another thing that's not good. See how the valve is stuck up like that? That means the piston hit that valve and bent it, and it's never a good thing. So we got some serious problems with the bike. I got the chain, yeah.
Okay.
So make sure you don't want to drop the cam chain down inside the engine. There's the cylinder, and when this comes off, the piston's not supposed to come off with it.
No.
And the crankshaft, the crank rod is not supposed to be bent like that.
Direction.
See that how it's bent? It's a little bit twisted. Yeah, that's definitely not a good thing. And all those metal shavings down in there
That's even
are
worse.
not supposed to be in there either. Houston, we have a problem.
Yes, we do.
Well, there's the bottom of the piston. The piston pin totally broke out of there, and that's cylinder's in pretty bad shape. Lots of extra metal. It's not supposed to be in there. And if you look down in there, there's a lot of metal shavings down inside the engine, which is always a really, really bad thing.
I'm excited.
Well, this motor is officially dead on arrival. We didn't know what we'd find out when we opened her up, but it's pretty much destroyed.